Welcome to The Explainer. So, today, we're going to talk about building something, not with bricks and mortar, but with words. We're talking about the architecture of engagement, how you can construct your writing so it's not just read, but actually remembered, truly unforgettable.
Okay, let's just get right into it with a question that I swear haunts every single person who writes. Why does so much of our work just get scrolled past? You can spend hours, days crafting something you think is brilliant, only to have it vanish into the digital noise. What is going on?
Well, here's the thing. The problem isn't that there's a lack of good information out there. I mean, we are absolutely drowning in it. It's this overwhelming abundance of content. Facts and data are basically free now. They're a commodity. So if all your writing does is present facts, it doesn't really have any value anymore.
And that brings us to the absolute core of the issue. To survive, to get any attention at all, you have to transform your text from just, information on a page into an actual experience for the reader. The game has totally shifted from what you say to how you say it.
So let's start with the big challenge, this attention apocalypse. Because of that information overload we just talked about, your reader's brain has evolved. It's built this subconscious filter, this cognitive firewall that is ruthless. It scans and instantly discards anything that feels dry, boring, or like work. It's not looking for data. It's looking for a spark. So, if there's a firewall, how in the world do we get past it? Well, you can't just throw words at the wall and hope they stick. You need a plan. You need an architect's blueprint, a structure that's specifically designed to grab the reader and pull them through your writing. Let's look at a couple of the best ones.
First up, this brilliant idea from a legendary copywriter named Joe Sugarman. He called it the slippery slide. And the concept is so simple but so powerful. The only job of your first sentence is to make someone read the second. And the only job of the second is to make them read the third. The momentum has to be so strong that it's actually easier for them to keep reading than it is to stop.
Now, one of the most reliable blueprints out there is called AIDA. It's a 4-step model that guides your reader's journey. You grab their attention, build their interest, create desire, and then call them to action. And this framework is over a century old, but it's stuck around for one reason. It just plain works. It meters exactly how our brains decide to care about something. And you can really see the difference here, right? Look at the before. This article we'll discuss. Ugh, snooze. Your cognitive firewall deletes that before you even finish the sentence. But the after? Your to-do list is a graveyard of good intentions. Whoa, that's what you call a pattern interrupt. It breaks a belief and makes your brain lean in and go, wait, what? Okay, so that's AIDA. Now let's look at another powerful framework, PAS. This one builds a different kind of connection. It's all about resonating with a problem your reader is already struggling with. You start with the problem, you agitate that problem, and then you offer your solution. It builds incredible trust because you're showing them you get their pain. And the real magic here happens in that second step, agitate. You're not just stating a dry fact like bad grammar looks unprofessional. No way. You're pressing on the bruise. You're painting a vivid picture of the consequences. A single typo can shatter your credibility. You make the pain of the problem feel real, which makes the need for your solution feel urgent. All right, so we've got our blueprint. The structure is sound. Now it's time to work on the interior design. This is how we make the reader feel like they are inside the text, not just looking at it from the outside. And this is backed by some really cool science called embodied cognition. Get this, it basically means that when your brain reads descriptive language, it's not a passive activity at all. It's a full-on biological event. It simulates the experience. When you write about gritty sand, the reader's brain actually fires up the same circuits it would use if it were feeling real grit. You're creating a virtual reality with your words. So how do you actually do this? Well, here's a super practical trick. Run a 5-sense audit on your writing. Seriously, most of what we write only ever appeals to sight, if that. But if you intentionally add details for sound, touch, smell, and even taste, suddenly, the world you're describing comes alive. It becomes a 3-dimensional space the reader can step into. Okay, let's zoom in even further now. Let's get microscopic and look at the absolute engine of every single sentence, the verb. This, right here, is where you can make the most powerful changes to your writing, fast. If sensory details are the body, verbs are the muscles making it move. There's a famous quote from Stephen King that just nails this idea. He says, "The road to hell is paved with adverbs."
And what he means is that adverbs, all those hell-why words like quickly or quietly, are usually just a band-aid. They're a confession that the verb you chose wasn't strong enough to do the job on its own. And look at this. The proof is right here. Instead of walked quickly, you could use strode or sprinted. Instead of ate hungrily, how about devoured? See that? A single strong verb is shorter, it's more specific, and it packs so much more punch. Devoured tells a whole story in one word. That's real power. All right, for our last section, we are pulling out the secret weapon. This is a pro-level technique, and it comes from a pretty unexpected place, the poet T.S. Eliot. This is the key to truly showing an emotion instead of just telling someone about it. His idea is honestly genius. He called it the objective correlative. He said, don't tell the reader an emotion. That's lazy. Instead, you give them the physical formula for it. You describe the objects, the situation, the chain of events that causes the emotion, and you let the reader's own brain do the math and feel it for themselves. And this example just illustrates it perfectly. On the left, the team felt stressed. Okay, fine, I guess. But look at the right. The office was littered with empty pizza boxes at 3 a.m., the silence broken only by frantic clicking. We don't need to be told they're stressed. We see the evidence, we hear the sounds, and we feel the stress right along with them. You've created the emotion in the reader, not just named it. So when you put it all together, the solid framework, the rich sensory details, the powerful verbs, and this way of showing emotion, you're no longer just sharing information, you're building an experience. You've got the blueprints, so the only real question left is, what are you going to build?